With all the turmoil that comes in politics, who would choose to go into politics? Can't believe it, can you? Particularly if you were a FTSE 100 chairman and executive there. Well, we asked Archie Norman that question. This is part of our exclusive interview with him, and this is what he had to say. Hugely successful in business. Most people would say, why on earth would you have gone into politics, particularly when it wasn't the best time for the Conservative Party?
Actually, a lot of people did say that at the time. My friends in business, they all said, what are you doing? You know, why on earth would anybody do that? In a healthy country, men and women of talent, ability and achievement, and especially if you had my sort of background and you've had a chance to save a bit of money, you ought to go into public life. Period.
Did you think you were going to turn around the Tory party then? It's 1997.
Yeah, of course I did. But
is that what it was? You thought you would go, and is politics
no, I didn't think I wasn't
that
arrogant enough thinking I was going to Tory, but I thought I could play a part after this long period in government when it's sort of run out of road, run out of ideas. I mean, really then sort of neo-Thatcherism was the prevailing doctrine, and it was a doctrine. And the party had got into a mindset where they'd answered all the difficult problems. So innovation, creativity, thinking about the future, just depleted. You put your hat in the ring, you see what comes. But so and
you were there for quite a while. 97, 2005. You were in William Hague's sort of shadow cabinet. Do you regret though being in politics, being a Conservative?
No, I actually don't at all. I mean, I regret the fact that I was there during our great march into the wilderness. So it's not just that we didn't win, we lost badly. And I think the lesson is when you go into a company, if the culture isn't right and the people aren't right, you change the people. In public life, you get the people that God and the electorate sent you, and you have to work. And turning around political parties takes a lot longer because it takes a change, a new generation to come in. So the Conservative Party really changed, obviously when Philip arrived, but in 2005, but also when others, David Cameron, George Osborne, all that generation came in, because my generation, or the generation I inherited post John Major, were really seeking to defend the legacy, defend the past. And when you look back on it, the things we defended then and, voted against now look absurd. And we voted against every increase in health spending. We stayed up all night, John Redwood led this, all night, voting against the introduction of the minimum wage. We're now big exponents of the minimum wage. I think the genesis of any turnaround in business or public life starts with the unvarnished truth. So it's that moment when the party can face into itself, or business can face itself and say, if we don't change, we're not going to survive. We're not going to be back in government. And we need to be honest with ourselves and the public about where we are and turn and face the future. And that moment didn't actually happen till after 2005, when, whatever his strengths or weaknesses, David Cameron did bring the party to that point. But having said all that, I enjoyed my time. I had a great time. In the end of the day, we lost. That's what politics does for you. But did I enjoy it? Yes. And if I thought we were going to win, I would have stayed.
You're the only person who's been the chairman of a FTSE 100 company at the same time as being an MP. There's obviously a lot of controversy about MPs having second jobs. There's no bigger second job than being a chairman of a FTSE 100 company. So why did you think it was important that MPs should have second jobs and do second jobs?
Well, I'm not sure whether I thought it was important or not, but I thought it was important I had a second job. I didn't want to, Asda was still part of where my heart was. So, and funnily enough, nobody objected.
Not them, but they would now. Surely they'd say vested interests, big business.
Now there'll be a lot more kerfuffle about it. But at that stage, it was thought to be a great thing that people had attracted this guy who was chairman of FTSE 100 company into public life, The constituents loved it. I had to promise not to build an Asda in the high street, but they loved the idea that it was sort of kind of flattering. And you have to remember, around all this controversy, you cut through all the media and the conflicts which have to be managed. 130 MPs do have second jobs. They're ministers in the government. Being a minister in the government last time, well, you'd know.
Yes,
I've never been a minister.
It's a big second
It's
job.
a full-time job, isn't it?
It's a full-time job.
Really, so that it's logistically, for most people, this is quite a doable idea. And keeping MPs grounded in sort of the real world of employment, of workplace and so on, isn't such a bad thing. So I'm not sure that we're right to go down this world of professionalisation.
So if you were 43 now, would you go in with the hope maybe of being
yes,
a PM
would, yeah,
or what
yeah.
have you?
I would do, because I think it's a noble cause, and that's why you're there. And I think it's the right thing to do. And actually, you can say better than I, because I haven't been there for a long time. But when it's good, it's very good. People I know like you have been Secretary of State and been in the cabinet. All would describe that period of their career as the most exciting, the most adrenaline-filled period of their career, but also normally the one where they achieved more. And that's pretty special.